I went to my first Grateful Dead cover band, like locally. It was a group called One Man's Gone, and I found out about it because one of the band members, one of their two drummers, he emailed me because he saw my YouTube channel and he told me about it. And then it happened to be on a Sunday from like 2 to 6, and that's like a really good time for me because there's never anything going on Sundays. So it was kind of cute because I actually was making my own set list as we went. So I was like doing the notes app. The only one I didn't know was how sweet it is, and I had to ask the band afterwards. But the other ones I figured out either by remembering them from the ones I heard, or I would just Google like Grateful Dead and the first lyric I heard, and then it would tell me the song name. So yeah, Ramble on Rose was good, and then Sugary was great. That's the one I knew. I remember Mississippi Half Step. Okay, and then I remember the Going Down the Road feeling bad. So that was like a really smooth transition. See, I even did the little like into because show that it was like a combo song. Cumberland Blues. I wrote they need help with the harmonies on this song. Oh, okay, that's gonna be my overall theme of the whole review. So, first of all, I thought they were really talented. Like the two guitarists, especially, were like I'm like, these are just random dads. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, these are, like, they could be professional musicians, but I think they could also just be, like, dads who play on the side. Or if they're not dads, they're just, like, Gen X guys who look like they could be dads. It was, like, dad rock, you know what I mean? So I was like, wow, they're, like, really good. Like, the Jerry of the band was, like, just these solos sometimes. I was like, that sounds, like, accurate, you know, like an exact copy of, like, a Jerry solo. And then like the Mickey one was also like really good, and he was like the main singer, you know. And so I'd say like they were good. The songs sounded accurate. They had the bassist. The bassist was good. He was maybe a millennial. He looked like closer to my age. He seemed really solid too. There's just 5 piece, so 2 drummers, 2 guitarists, 1 bass. And yeah, my only thing that I felt like shorted on, like that I really would have wanted, was they didn't really know how to sing in harmony. So when the 2 guitarists would sing in at the same time on certain songs, like for example, Cumberland Blues and Jack Straw, it opens up with the harmonies, right? And they were both singing, but they were singing unison. So that just means that the person who's supposed to be singing harmony doesn't have a strong enough singing voice or sense of singing in harmony, which is a skill you really have to learn, you know. I acquired mine because I spent my whole childhood, you know, singing harmonies along to the Beatles and stuff. But like in here, where we have this melody, like, yes, I understand that that's actually a hard melody, you know, like, we can share the woman, we can share the wine. But the harmony on that is, you know, there's many ways to do the harmony, but I think they're usually doing like, usually it's either like up a third, sometimes it's up a fifth or a fourth. It could be like there. We can share the woman, we can share the wine. Wine, or that harmony. Wine, right? So there's that, makes that song so good. So that's what was missing for me on Jack Straw and Cumberland Blues. Especially Cumberland Blues, like, gotta get down to the na-na-na-na, gotta get down to the na-na-na-na. And one of the drummers had a microphone, but again, that is so hard to pull off with a 5-piece band who's also playing. So I don't have like crazy expectations. I'm not like, oh my god, they should have like sang perfectly, you know? But there is a really, you know, later on in Cumberland Blues, I'm just looking at now. Yeah, here it is. Like the gotta get down to the Cumberland mine, gotta get down to the Cumberland mine, right? Where this book has just the melody part. Gotta get down to the Cumberland mine, gotta get down to the Cumberland mine. You need to have both of those harmonies on the callback, and they just didn't have enough singers, you know? That's where I mainly spend my time. Make good money, $5 a day. Make good money, $5 a day. So you need to have that. So that was what was missing for me. This is just my own critique. But again, their guitarist, the musicianship was so good for like a random dad cover band. I'm just gonna call it a dad cover band because the trend where I live is that it's a really expensive area to live in the Bay Area. And there's a lot of cover bands, but they tend to be people who are like over 50 or like over 45 because you have to be a certain place in your life where you're like established financially enough to then have time to be in a band. And maybe your kids are old enough now where you're not doing like direct parenting skills anymore. So it's like kind of knocks out everybody in their 20s who's still struggling to just come up in their career. 30s when you start to like get married, have babies, into the 40s where you're having babies and small children. And then finally at the end of the 40s, your kids are like old enough where you don't need to babysit them, or maybe you become an empty nester in your 50s and then you're like, what am I going to do now? It's like, oh, I'll just join a Grateful Dead cover band. So anyway, that's why I call it like dad cover band, because it seems to be the case. There's like obviously professional bands around who book a lot of weddings and stuff, and they obviously like make enough money where it's like a career, right? If they're like booking tons of events and like the really popular like top 40 cover bands, they're doing like weddings and stuff. So it just seems like these niche cover bands, like I go to a lot of like 80s ones and like 90s ones, and then this was my first Grateful Dead one. But I've seen all sorts of cover bands for like almost every single like Gen X and Boomer band. Like there's the Eagles cover band. You know what I mean? Like it just like that is a thing, right? Okay, so then on the second set, I'd never heard Shakedown Street, so finally I was like, okay, that's Shakedown Street, noted, okay? And then Morning Dew, it was fine, but again, they don't have the harmonies, so it was fine. I was like, okay, that's what Morning Dew sounds live, it was good, West LA Fade Away I had never heard, so I was just like taking it in. Big River, very, very Big River-y, It seemed like what Big River would sound like. I was like, oh yeah, this sounds like, I don't know if I'm not going to call it bluegrass, but it sounded more bluesy, kind of Americana-ish, right? Big River. Bertha, that was the one where I was like, this is a mediocre song. Not the people playing it. I thought the songwriting of it was kind of mediocre. Like, I would have rather heard, like, an Althea, which is a really good song. I was like, Bertha, my note was, I don't love it. I don't hate it. It was like, okay. I was like, this is a decent song. Maybe I need to study it and, like, watch some live version. It's actually in my book, actually, so I could do that on my series of, like, figuring out a song. Loser, I liked Loser. Like the riffing in it, like the guitar riff in the beginning was like super interesting, and I was like, oh, this is a good song. So like Loser kind of like drew me in a little bit, and then I was like, oh, awesome. And then Feel Like a Stranger was good too. I wrote very groovy, very 70s. They did a really good job with that one. That's what I wrote. Okay, then China Cat Sunflower Rider came on, and I was like, so I danced in the first set from basically Sugary until the end, or maybe Sugary until like Big Railroad Blues, and then I just didn't feel like getting up for Jack Straw. Okay, then on the second set I started sitting, so I was just like tired, and then I got up for China Cat Sunflower, and then I sat down again for Casey Jones and Touch of Grey, but it's just because I was tired, because I stood like I was standing for quite a while. So yeah, I thought the China Cat Sunflower was nice. And it was interesting because I had just done the interview with Jimmy's Dead, and he had just said that he was like talking in quotes, and he goes, I want to be a headlight on a high-speed train, or whatever the quote is. I'm actually going to look it up now because I'm like, what is that quote? But then I heard it in the song, and I was like, oh my God, it's so good. Okay, let's see. I want to be the headlight on a runaway train. I think that's what it is. I want to be, or that was in Rider. I Know You Rider, my favorite song. I Know You Rider. Is this going to be under I or R? Or I know. There it is. I Know You Rider. I want to be, oh yeah, I wish I was a headlight on a northbound train. And so he had just said that in the quote. It was like random, like he's just like, I wish I was a headlight on a runaway train or northbound train. And I was like, oh, interesting. And so then I got to hear that live, and that was kind of cool because he had just talked about it the day before. So I was like, and he's like, once you learn to dance to China Cat Sunflower Rider, then you're like a real Dead fan. I was like, okay, fine. So I enjoyed it, and the set list overall was full of things that I knew. Now, I hadn't officially reacted to Casey Jones on my channel, but I heard it when I watched the documentary So then I understood the whole like cocaine train thing, and I was like, that's a cool way to like talk about a really fast train. Honestly, like poetically, I was like, that's cool. Okay, so let's go over some other interesting things about the concert. So it opened up with a bluegrass trio. Um, let's see. Where's my. I took pictures of a lot of things. Okay, wait. I need to do this. View, gallery. Okay. So this is what it looked like from the outside. Let's get rid of that. Let's expand that. All right. So from the outside, it was like this random storefront in a like this downtown, which was pretty dead on a Sunday, honestly. But they had balloons out, and like you could see the situation. And so yeah, it was at this cool, I guess it's kind of like a Lions Elks thingy. It's called the Goodfellows. Like it's some kind of like society. And yeah, it was nice. So $25. I paid cash. Oh, so yeah, it was great. And so this opening band was called Redwood Souls, and they were a bluegrass trio. And so they looked like this. Okay. So what I was confused about is I swear they were like, okay, the Grateful Guitars organizations here who like donates, they acquire Grateful Dead instruments and give them out to people to play. And I swear they said that guitar in this acoustic set was a Jerry guitar from his bluegrass days that he's playing on an original, okay? Because like the organization guy was there and like they made an announcement about it, and like I swear that's true, okay? Someone was reading Fahrenheit 451. I was like, that's so random for like a show. Like, when are you gonna sit in the corner and open that? I was just like, that's cool. I mean, I read the book in high school, so I just thought it was kind of funny. I'm observant like that. Okay, so that was like my reaction yesterday. By the way, look, my makeup was done, and I had like a pretty flower dress. Just look how nice I look.
Grateful Dead cover band. Today I went to a Grateful Dead cover band called One Man Down.
One Man Gone, correcting myself.
And it was really good. And I found out about it because...
Oh yeah, so then I got the real set list from the drummer at the end, the one who invited me, because I was like, that would be a good idea. Okay, so then after I think I have... Not sure what order this is in now. It's all backwards. But yeah, so the bluegrass people, I did get some videos of them. So they did some originals, but they seem to be focusing on like Jerry Garcia's early music that I guess he used to do with his wife back in the early days. So they're like specifically a Jerry Garcia bluegrass group, which I was like, that's interesting genre. So it fit well as like an opener for a Grateful Dead band. And then there's just like all ages. Oh, I took a picture of this because I feel like the flowers on this woman's head were supposed to be like scarlet begonias, like a scarlet begonias headdress. And I was like, that's thematic. That's cool. I was like, I want a scarlet begonias headband. I was like, that's cool. Like everybody's like so thematic, and like just a lot of tie-dye. They even had vendors there. Okay, they even sold grilled cheese because I guess one of the people at this organization, the club thing, he's like a professional chef. So they had nachos, grilled cheese, and something else. And I was hungry actually. So, they had hot dogs. So I was really hungry, and so I like ordered that, and it came with a little tomato soup, which was great because I'd kind of forgotten to eat lunch before, and I was like, I better eat, because I also wanted to have a glass of wine, but I did not want to have a glass of wine unless I had something to eat. So this is me eating my sandwich. I was excited about it. See, tomato soup, very good. All right, so then the main band came on. And so this is where I got really confused, because they were like making a big deal about this like iguana guitar or lizard guitar, like apparently like it was a Stratocaster that Jerry had that had like a lizard sticker.
Grateful guitar.
See, look.
I don't know if you
see.
This guitar is Gator. This was one of Jerry's guitars. In case you didn't know that, there it is. And Andy, can we come on over? And can we hear it for Andy Logan?
So they made it seem like it was the actual guitar. Someone even goes, it has Jerry's DNA on it. And I was like, wow. So then when I posted that to my TikTok, just that, like, you know, oh, they were playing on one of the guitars. They go, no, they were playing on a replica. They didn't have Jerry's guitar. I'm like, well, why would they say that they had Jerry's guitar? And then why were the guys switching off with it and acting so reverent towards the guitar? I was like, is it really just a replica? Or are they actually playing with the actual Gator guitar? So I was a little confused by that. Was it nice to see these older people sitting here? They were pretty old. Some of these people were like, you know, the original. They were probably listening to the Dead since the late 60s and or early 70s. And I'm like, wow. And they were just enjoying it just as much, even if they couldn't dance anymore. So it was great. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. But I thought they were so good. Like, their groove was great.
There for a minute.
See, look, they were switching off on the guitar and making a big deal about it. Like, oh, let me play it now. Or like, let's switch it off. Like, how about you play it next, you know? And I was like, why would they do that with a replica? But again, just tell me what's the truth, because I understand the organization also makes replica guitars and gives them to bands. But they literally made it seem like this was the actual guitar. And if that's true, that's insane, right?
There for
Yeah, I sound pretty good for a 5-piece band. Again, I always am like, I'm like, I can't believe there's 2 drummers, because like that's such a thing I'd never heard of before hearing about the Dead. I was trying to get this woman spinning in the back here between these 2 men. She kept doing, she would like do the most amazing like spinning thing that I heard about. And then by the time I'd get my camera out to try to film it, she was never spinning again. So I did not capture the spinning, but I really wanted to. But she was like so good. Like she would just like casually get the spin in. And like, I was like, oh wow, a real spinner, like authentic spinner, like an OG, like it's legit. Like this is like a connection to the past, you know? I was like, I was like alone, and I was in like a flower sundress. So, and it was not a long to the floor dress, but it wasn't like mini. It was just kind of like mid. But, you know, I was still like a lone woman. I'm like, I can't dance too crazy because I already was gathering a lot of attention just by being there. It was also because when I arrived, the drummer who invited me, he's a fan of my channel. And so he kind of thinks I'm a star. And look, I think I will one day be a star, but right now I consider myself very small time. So, but it was kind of like my first celebrity. It was my second celebrity experience, because when I went to Fish Austin, a girl in the bathroom was like, oh my God, I love your TikTok. And I was like, really? I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know what to say, because it was like the first time someone like recognized me from social media. So then this was like, I was invited as like a special person. And then he kept introducing me to band members, being like, this is Erica. She has a YouTube channel. And she like interviews deadheads. And I was like, hi. And then they were like, oh my God, this is like a big deal, like the media coming or something. And I was like, yeah. I was like, no, but I really liked it. So then every time I was dancing, I saw that they were really happy that I was like, once I got up and started dancing, they were like really happy that I was dancing. And they were like, oh good, she's having a good time. And they would smile when they caught me dancing. So I was like, okay. But maybe it wasn't just me. It might have just been everybody in the vibe overall. So I'm not saying it was me, but I definitely got a sense that they were happy that I was enjoying it. They were glad that I wasn't like, you know, like in the corner. By the way, I think their singing is good overall. They're on pitch and I think they have a good style. They just don't sing the harmonies. So it's like they're good singers. They just don't know how to do harmonies to the level, which by the way, to play guitar and to sing at the same time, or to play drums and sing at the same time, or to do any of that is an absolutely insane skill. It takes so much coordination. And to sing harmony, you have to have such a good sense of internal audiation that you don't get drawn to the melody line, which is what is natural. Because you're like, oh, I want it. If you're singing and you're like, wow, I can sing in pitch, I can sing the melody line. But then to be able to like not sing the melody line and to keep a harmony line while you're playing like lead guitar, come on. But this Sugary was good, and you can see how good they are. Like every person in the band sounds honestly semi-pro, if not like pro, right? Like they're really good. And again, like for like a dad rock like cover band.
Just one thing I discovered. It's just one thing for me. Please call you my name, my darling, Sugary. Shake it, Sugary. Don't tell her that you know me.
Anyway, now Sugary's my jam. Because again, once I learn the song on piano and like process it fully, I like it becomes part of me and I can't forget it. So that's why I like doing my series where I learn it from the book versus like just hearing it, because I just learn it so much better and I can't forget it. I hear every note like I can like anticipate what every note's going to be before I hear it, because like I memorize music that fast. Not the chord progressions obviously, but like I know the melodies really well after if I've learned a song. See how good they are? They're like so talented.
Baby, I'll meet you on the run. Just one thing I ask of you. It's just one thing for me. Please forget you, my name, my darling. Shake it, Sugary. Don't tell that you know.
Yeah, and it was cute. There was like the wife and girlfriend of the like guitarist and bassist in the audience, and they were like very supportive. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
You said it had hot pickups, Andy. This has hot pickups. All right.
No, again, they're like saying it's like the actual guitar, but the TikTok people didn't believe. They were like, it's a replica.
You good? I still don't have problems.
Yeah. Head down. See, this is a song where I want the harmony so bad. Gotta get down, you know, so I'm gonna have to sing it. Gotta get down, gotta get down, gotta get down, and down. Oh. Yeah, I like that part. See, another song where I would want roll away, harmony. Ah. Miss me when I'm gone. See, I want that harmony. Gone, gone. They're singing the melody, both of them. Wind blowing in your arms. how good that was? But yes, I just want the harmony. Okay, so then you guys, this is the crazy thing. So then I was talking to the other drummer who came and introduced me, and he's super pro. Like he like is in a bunch of bands like besides this, and he plays gigs all the time. And then I like jokingly was like, you know what this band needs? I was like, they need a Donna. I was like, they need me. I was like, I could be Donna and I could play keyboard. I was like, I could do both. Like I could be Donna and Keith at the same time. And he was like, oh, actually. And I was like, oh God, what am I getting myself into? But then I thought about it. I was like, honestly, if this band just had me as like front woman vocals in like a cute little like outfit and then like added in those harmonies on all the songs and added in some keyboard, which I don't know any of, but I thought about it and I was like, honestly, we could call it One Man Gone, but One Woman Up. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I know One Man Gone probably is reference to Jerry, right? Or maybe it's from a song, but either way, I'm like, it's a good name. And there's really cool names of all the Grateful Dead cover bands they were telling me about. But I was like, yeah, all they need is a Donna, which could be me or anyone. I'm just saying, but I was like, I don't want to commit to such a thing right now. But I was like, well, gosh, what if my whole Grateful Dead story ends up being that I went from like not knowing the band to listening to the band to then going to concerts to then being like, honestly, I should be in a Grateful Dead cover band and I need to be Donna. But like, and all the high harmonies and the keyboard. I was like, what if that is this is what actually happens? So first of all, for those of you who doubted me in the beginning, you're never gonna get the Dead. I think I'd say I do get the Dead. And I think that the Dead community has embraced me and they were happy I was there. And they were like thrilled. And honestly, my opinion is this band was so talented that they deserved to be playing in front of a much larger crowd than they had. Now, I liked the intimacy of the crowd because it was like comfy, it felt very safe. I was able to put my purse down. I didn't feel like I had to like watch it or something, you know, like, so that was nice. But, you know, they're pretty good. They're like really talented. And some of the solos and stuff that they played, it sounded like just like replicas of the Dead, like exactly, you know? And they could be easily playing, you know, big concert outdoor venues, you know, in summer, like cities put on those like outdoor series. They could easily be playing in front of like thousands of people. I could see them opening for some other like bigger cover band. Yeah, I think they're like really good. So I think it's partially marketing. That's their problem because I didn't even hear about the concert and I'm like on Facebook events all the time looking up stuff and they were selling the tickets on Eventbrite. I never got any like email about it. So I think part of it is like marketing a small band is really hard nowadays and you basically have to run Facebook ads, Instagram ads. You have to like put flyers up everywhere. There has to be some kind of mailing list that I'm not on. But if that guy had not emailed me, I would have never known about it. So I think part of their problem, not that it's a problem, I don't know if they want to be, you know, widely renowned or not, but I think it's partially a marketing issue. And when they were like, wow, a young person, you know, because, some of the older people assumed I was even younger than I am because maybe as you get older, you think people look even younger and younger. One guy's like, are you in school? I was like, oh, that's sweet. I was like, no, I work. But, and then even the band members didn't think I was my age millennial. They thought it was like, 28 or something. And I was like, oh, that's nice. But then I was like, no, I'm older. But still, that's how much the crowd was skewed older that like, yeah, there were people's kids there. There were like teenagers who were like tagging along with their parents kind of thing. But my little middle range person, like between 20 and 45 was just not represented like at the concert, like at all. Like it was like not really there. So I'd say most people were over 50, but even like a lot of over 40, maybe like 47 and up kind of thing. So they're just not marketing it the right ways to get young people because I think young people would, and I know there are so many young fans of the Dead, so they just need to find a better way of finding them. And that may be, for example, like Gen Zs aren't on Facebook, they're on TikTok, right? So it's like if you're running an ad and you're trying to get young people, doing it on Facebook or whatever isn't going to get you the people you want. So I don't know the solution, but I believe in this band so much that I'm going to hype them up. So I think they're really, really good. And since I am a voice teacher, I'm like, oh, I can just sell them voice lessons or like trade them voice lessons for something. They can give me a guitar lesson and I can teach them how to sing harmony Or hey, I'll just have to join the band and sing as Donna, but like a really good Donna. No screeching. I won't screech. I don't screech. I refuse to do it because I don't want to damage my voice, but I can sing harmony pretty well, the high harmony. So yeah, overall, really great experience. I stayed until the very end. So I came in like kind of in the middle of the Bluegrass trio. There was a break. Then I ate. Then I had drinks. Oh, by the way, the drinks were only $4. So like that alone should get people in the door. If you were like concert drinks only $4, like that's cheaper than buying a bottle of wine. You know, like I had one glass of wine for $4. I was like, what? That's crazy. You know, it's like $20 to buy a bottle of wine, $4 to drink it at a place. I was like, that's really reasonable. But I had a really great time. And again, I was just like watching some of the older women dance, and they were just so happy and like passionate. And then like the women, I'd say, were more attuned to like doing actual moves and spinning, and some of the men were still just kind of like whatever, but there were some bouncing men who were like jumping and like really into it. So there was a wide variety, and then there was people just sitting who were like so into the music but can no longer dance, you know. And I like the option that they had seats, which is really nice to have seats at a concert, because standing room only is also very inaccessible for tons of people, because not everyone can stand. I'm even a super fit fitness instructor who teaches like 2 hours in a row often. Like every week I teach a 2 hour block, back-to-back classes. And even for me, like standing room at the Fish concert, when I wasn't wearing my most comfortable shoes, by the end of the like 3.5 hours, I was like, that's a lot. So what I learned at the general admission Fish show was to sit on the floor during the break, and that really helped me then have really good stamina for the second half of the Fish show. But again, standing room concerts are not really accessible to most people. Me, young healthy fitness instructor who's like super fit for my age, even me, I have to be like really like, okay, good shoes, sit, make sure you rest, like make you drink enough water, don't drink too much alcohol, like don't eat the wrong things before the concert. Like I have to have everything like perfect to have like a good GA experience. So like anyone who's like slightly overweight or slightly older, has bad knees, had bad hips, they need chairs, okay? So GA isn't for everybody. So I like concerts where there's like a combination of that. But yeah, I think the band's super talented, and as Jimmy's Dead had said, and other people had said to me, like, you really have to hear these songs live, and then you'll like get it. Well, I was already getting it, just so you know, like especially when I started playing them on my piano, but also just listening to like multiple. I've heard 3 recordings of China Cat Sunflower Rider, and now this technically is like a 4th performance because it's like a cover band. But now I kind of getting the groove of it. So yeah, I think I get it, and I think seeing the community there, and also seeing like people selling like all the little vending things in the back. There was like 2 or 3 vendors in the back, and I was like, that's so cool. Even though this is like a mini little concert, but they still have like the vending people that travel around to every Grateful Dead event. So yeah, it's like Grateful, you know, the Dead, we're everywhere. So I kind of am like, cool, like I'm in this now, you know? So any way I can help, like honestly, like I would promo for any of these people. And if I can get younger people locally to attend these kind of cover band things, because again, $25, and it was 20 in advance if you bought like a week in advance. I just paid 25 at the door, no fees. It was great. But that's so cheap, right? For like, it was 4 hours of music. So it started at 2 and ended at 6. So worth it, right? So if I can just get some younger people to go to things like this, I think that was maybe how I can contribute in my own way. Like, because again, like, who am I? If I end up joining a Grateful Dead cover band as Donna / keyboardist, who knows? Like, who knows what the future is going to hold, right? So that could be interesting. Yeah, it'd be awesome. Anyway, I loved it, and I thank them so much for inviting me. And it was so nice for them to introduce me to people there, being like, oh, he's really, you know, this is our band promoter guy, this is our guitarist. Like I met everybody basically. And then just like other people were like really nice to me and just like welcoming, and because you know I was alone, so I was just random girl just kind of there who looked kind of out of place. At least I wore a very colorful flower dress. In fact, the girl checking me and goes, oh, that's perfect for a Grateful Dead concert. And I was like, oh, thank you. I just was like, what can I wear? Because I don't have any long hippie skirts. I don't have anything like that, like a maxi skirt that's like multicolored tie-dye. I don't own anything like that. I don't really like baggy clothes. I like really fitted clothes. I like kind of like preppy Elle Woods from Legally Blonde kind of look. So I'm just gonna keep being myself. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should get like a Grateful Dead Dancing Bears dress, whatever. And I'm like, it's just not me. You know, I would wear like a sparkle, like dress that's like fitted, or I guess I would wear like a Dancing Bears knitted if it was like knitted and it was like intricate kind of embroidery but very fitted, and it was kind of like a sheath cut. I would wear that. So again, it's just like, or maybe I'd wear like a really, or a jumpsuit. I think like a like halter jumpsuit, very colorful but like very 70s, that's very fitted, and then like at the back kind of has that open back halter, and then like bell bottom kind of pants or something. Like I would totally wear that. But as you can see, like my style is like very fitted versus like I don't like loose clothing. Just how I am. So anyway, that's my whole review of the One Man's Gone Bay Area, you know, California, Northern California Bay Area, Grateful Dead cover band. They're excellent. And yeah, they can hire, all they need is to sing those harmonies. But I guess I can sing them too, but I don't think I can commit to joining a band right now. But I'm open to the idea. I'm toying with it. So, you know, let me audition. Let me have a chance. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And again, thank you so much for inviting me. And I hope to come to more concerts in the future. And I hope that the band has all the success it wants and needs, whatever that is, whatever you guys desire, whether it's gigs, whether it's just bigger exposure, whether it's whatever. I hope you guys get it. You guys deserve it. You're very talented. And it was a great set list. In fact, the people on TikTok said, what a killer set list. I was like, yeah, right? Because I posted the set list. And the TikTok people were like, wow, what a great set list. So most people at this point have come around on me, even the skeptical ones. And they're like, oh, this girl's for real. Okay, cool. Now we like her. But at first they were like, who is this girl? Again, because I don't do the whole hippie thing, right? Like most Grateful Dead chicks are like super into like the hippie, like peace and love, like hippie flower or whatever. And I'm just not like that. So I think it was hard for people to grasp that like a very typical blonde California, like Valley Girl kind of appearing. I'm Valley Girl presenting, but I'm not a Valley Girl. I'm Valley Girl presenting girl. Like, is she just doing this as a joke or something? You know, like it took them a while, but I think now they're getting it. And I'm just being like, hey, I'm just authentic. Like, I'm not going to change my look just because I now like the Grateful Dead and Fish. Like, I'm not going to just become somebody else. I'm not going to change the way I dress and like get pink nails and wear like the most girly things possible, you know, like, so anyway, that's just my assessment. So have a great day. I'll see you on the next episode of Erica Reacts. And again, thank you for inviting me. I loved it. It was amazing. I felt so good after. Live music is good. Always go to the show. Live music. I believe in it. And if those are actually Jerry's guitars, please let me know, because I was under the impression that for sure the acoustic one was. And then I thought that's why they were so reverent about the lizard one. But then people were like, that's just a replica. And I was like, is it though? So I need to know that. Okay, bye.